This technique is X-ray photoelectron spectroscopy or XPS. So we will first deal with the concept and then we will show say sodium atom. The electron configuration is shown here. So now if you want to take out these electron out of these shells, they will come out with their corresponding energies. Okay, so if the electron in the innermost cell, so the binding energy will be highest. So you require to have say suppose you are giving one characteristic X-ray, high energy X-ray you are imparting, and that is falling on all of these electrons in their different cells. So depending upon their location there, depending upon their cells, the electron coming out with separate kinetic energy, with distinct kinetic energies. Okay, because the electron which is in the core cell will require highest energy to come out. Okay, and in the process it will encounter so many cells, so many electrons, and then it will lose out some energy also. Okay, so the intensity of that innermost electron will be, say, coming out will be less, or kinetic energy will be coming out will be less. Okay, and then say in this particular case of sodium, the say second cell which has 8 electrons, so the intensity of this peak will be highest, maybe highest, because the count will be highest, electron number are highest. Okay, so basically this is a photoelectric effect. Okay, so X-ray photoelectron spectroscopy. So this is photoelectric effect whereby the kinetic energy of emitting electron is depending upon what is the binding energy and what the work function of that element is. Okay, so if I show you a figure by figure, so you can see if this is the K cell, electron lying in the K cell, and then you have some high energy photon which is incident on it. So this electron gain that energy, and part of that energy is lost in EBE, which is the binding energy. Okay, depending upon which cell it is, the binding energy will be there. After that, after overcoming the binding energy, once it is free from its shell, then it reaches a Fermi level whereby work function it required to overcome, and then the emitted kinetic energy. So with this much kinetic energy, the electron will come out. Okay, so this is not for only the core cell, this is for all the cells. Okay, so electrons in all different cells. Okay, so they will be coming out with their respective kinetic energies depending upon their shells. Okay, so this is what the X-ray photoelectron spectroscopy. So we are using X-ray to have a photoelectric effect on the elements. So if I show you in detail, let's see in detail. So if you have this intensity side on the y-axis or count, and binding energy on the x-axis, so binding energy is increasing toward the left. You see the columns are also marked. Okay, now if I see the XPS spectra, photoelectron spectra of say carbon. So carbon has a 6 atomic number, so 6 electrons. So 1s2, 2s2, and 2p2. So if I plot out if I see XPS of carbon, you will see something like this. Okay, so all different peaks with equal intensities, because electron number are same. Electron count is same. Okay, in all different cells. You can see 1s2 is the higher binding energy side. 1s2 has a higher binding energy. You can see, because 1s is a core cell. So the electron, so to emit out the electron from that require higher energy photon. So you can see binding energy of 1s2 is higher as compared to 2s and 2p. Okay. Similarly, if you see for say nitrogen, so atomic number is 7, so 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. Now 2p3, here there's a little bit variation. So let's see XPS spectra how it looks like. So 1s2 is okay, 2s2 is also okay, 2p3 is little bit, intensity is increased, so count is increased, so the intensity is increased. Okay, and also see that 1s2 position is little bit shifted toward the higher binding energy side for nitrogen as compared to carbon. You can see, because nitrogen has a more protons in nucleus, so it has a higher binding energy. 1s core electron of nitrogen has a higher binding energy as compared to carbon. Okay, so depend upon the atomic number of the element, that depend upon binding energy will be depending upon that. Okay, so if we see say oxygen 8 atomic number 8, so 1s2, 2s2 and 2p4. Now the spectra is looking like something like this. Okay, so all are shifted toward the higher binding energy side, and 1s2 and 2sp same intensity, and 2p4 like double intensity count is double, so 2s and 2p has a 1:2 ratio of intensities, okay, or area under the peak or intensities, okay. And here in nitrogen case, 2s and 2p has a like 2:3 ratio, like intensity ratio is 2:3. So this is what the XPS is. Okay, let us see sodium case also. So sodium has 11, so 1s2, 2s2, 2p6 and 3s1. Okay, so if the spectra will look like this. So 2p6 is highest energy, so 2s and 2p has a 1:3 ratio, and you can see 3s1 has only 1 electron, so its intensity is like count is less, peak is small, and all are shifted toward higher binding energy side. So this is the spectra, this is the schematic of the XPS spectra to make you understand what the concept behind XPS is. So XPS concept is only photoelectric effect, and here we use X-ray to bring out all the electrons from the particular cells. So that's why it is XPS. Okay. So what we have seen till now is imprint of electronic configuration. So whatever the electronic configuration is, the peaks will be giving out that particular location. So the intensity will be giving out the number of electrons, and the location will be giving out binding energy will be giving out their particular cells. Okay. So no two elements will have same XPS. Okay. So there will be, because the case is every element have distinct configuration. Electronic configuration is different, so the XPS will be different. So XPS can be used to identify elements. Okay. So peak position and peak intensity are used to identify element. So peak position and peak intensity you can read out. If you don't have the electronic configuration, you just have peaks, you can read out, or you can have a certain idea of what the electronic configuration is. So proof of electronic configuration is the XPS is. I think this is now clear. So let us see a practical XPS spectra. So a practical XPS spectra, say for some high atomic number element, say cobalt, zinc, or something like that, iron, should be looking like this. 2s peak, the core peak. We are not talking about 1s peak, we are talking about directly 2s peak, 2p and 3s. We can talk about those things also, but the location and peak is the peak location and peak positions, peak positions and peak ratios are sufficient to identify an element. So we don't require to go in all particular complete survey. Okay, so outermost cell survey is enough to identify elements. Okay, so you can see 2s peak is there, 2p peak which is splitted. There are two peaks for 2p, and then 3s peak and the 3d peak. So what we are observing in this spectra is, first of all, that there is a step background as we go for the core cells. Okay, so first thing. And the second thing, we are observing that for higher cells like 2p cells or 3d cells like that, there is splitting. Okay, so this background is coming due to this core cells. When the core cell electron will come out now, it will has to encounter all those different cells, all those outermost cells. So it will deaccelerate, and in charge deacceleration it will emit out some radiations. So those radiations are the noise. So that's what the noise intensity is coming out for core cells. Okay, so that's what the step background is. Okay, so which is added up for all cells. It will added up. Okay, so this stepped characteristic is step background, and then the splitting, the 2p and 3d and 3f like that, they are splitted due to spin orbital coupling. Okay, so basically what happens now, electrons spin on its location, and it also revolve around the nucleus. Okay, so it has two angular momentum, spin angular momentum and the orbital angular momentum. Okay, so those two provide degeneracy to the higher energy levels. Okay, so you can see out. So here you can see out the degeneration level, which is J. So J is given by L plus minus S. So L is orbital angular momentum, S is spin angular momentum, and then you can see out. So splitting will occur in two P cells. So you can see P half and P3/2 have the ratio of 1:2 ratio, intensity ratio. Okay, and then D like that, D also D3/2 and D5/2 will have 2:3 ratio, and then like that F will have 3:4 ratio. Like that there are ratios. Okay, like peak intensity ratios. So if we see, say copper 2p peak, you can see 2p 1/2 and 2p 3/2. They are like peak area or intensity ratio is 1:2, and there is a certain locations, there is a certain difference between this peak. Okay, binding edge difference between these peak. Okay, so the area ratio, area of these two ratio and their locations, peak location is the characteristic of that particular element. So once we know this, we can ascertain that which element it is. Okay, so 2p. So say AG silver 3D peak is splitted, and then the ratio, area ratio, and their like peak position ratio, and then say gold AU F position, F peak, so their position, and then there's a like area ratio. So these things are one can identify which element it is just by reading. So I think now you have basic concept clear, like what is XPS is. So XPS is a pretty simple technique with the application of photoelectric effect. So we use X-ray for as an incoming photon of a high energy photon, so that's why it is XPS. Okay, now let us move toward the example demonstration. So XPS fitting, I have seen many people using directly Origin software, which I will not recommend. I will recommend going to XPS Peak Fit, this XPS Peak Fit. So you just directly directly take your sample. This is our sample. So it has a step background, so you need to remove this step background, and then you need to fit the peak. So two important things are here. The important thing is background fitting. So background you use either Shirley, you can see Shirley, linear, Taggart. So whatever you want you can use. So if I use linear, whatever you want, okay. The first thing is that, and the second thing is about peak. So peak you need to fix a combination of Gaussian and Lorentzian. Okay, so you can see Gaussian and Lorentzian fix like combination is there. Okay, so those things you can put. So if I want to move this peak to some certain level, I will just accept it. It's gone there. Add peak, move it, optimize it, again further move it, optimize it. So it almost reaches there. Okay, so like that you have to first optimize the location, then optimize the area, so that it directly overlap your sample, and then like that you can do for multiple peaks. So okay, accept it, and then there are two peaks, 0 and 1. So if I move this 0 peak, you can see if once I click 0 peak, it is highlighted. So I will just move it little further, optimize a little further, optimize little bit further. So I can just put number here also, but I'm not doing that because I'm just trying to show you. Optimize it. So now so let me take two more peak, one peak here and one peak here. So just add peak. So other peak is added. So let me move it first here and then optimize it little bit, optimize it. Okay, so peak position I have fixed. One more peak, add peak. So this peak, optimize it little bit here, optimize it little bit, optimize. Okay, somewhere here, and then now all the 4 peaks are taken, and then area under the FWHM, and then what is the like for particular peak, what is their profile, Lorentzian Gaussian profile, that 80% Lorentzian Gaussian profile. Okay, so that way we can optimize the peak, and so this XPS peak fit. So what I want to demonstrate here is go for XPS peak fit, and you can have your background Shirley selected, or Shirley linear combination, or Taggart, whatever you want, and then the peaks in that sense. Okay, so all those 4 peaks are shown here, and then this current overlapping is the chi-square value is being shown 52, which is very bad. Okay, so you try to have it near to 1. So you click on optimize 1, and then you can have all this thing done. Okay, so that's how we do XPS peak fitting, and you can find out your peak location and peak area, and then you can be sure what element is in your sample is. Okay, so thanks for listening, and we will meet in some other technique.